All right, y'all. I am in Beque, Colorado. I have just got gas. Let's see if I can get my... All right. Here I am dinking with electronics again. That guy wanted to get in my lane too. I have got coffee, man. This is great. I actually made 2 pots of coffee. I made one last night. Put it in I put it in the yeah. Finding best route. Okay. I've got an internet connection here. So cool. So I'm going down my favorite little slow speed road, US 6. I just left the Beque. It is 1:41. That ain't bad. Just got off of Grand Mesa. And it was very pretty. Today is September 25th. It is beautiful outside. It is a beautiful fall day. It was really pretty going through the aspen and the oak brush. I got someone coming up behind me really fast. And I don't even give a shite. A turd. A ploot. That person can pass me and go right on. One of the things I really like about this drive is that when I was a kid, we would come up to Grand Junction or come down there, whatever. And this was the old highway. And I remember this overpass with these stripes. Sadly, someone's came and marked them with their freaking whatever paint, douchebag paint. But it was a really good memory. Just a neat thing, you know. I don't know. I just like the whole thing. It was an image that I've had in my mind since then, that it's like this beautiful, cool image. These cool gates, you know. Just a railroad trestle. The rabbit brush is really pretty. My sister does a lot of driving. She'll drive around out northwest Colorado. I asked her to bring me some rabbit brush. She's thinking about it. She did. She brought me a couple. I planted a couple plants in town, like that yellow, with rabbit brush, stuff that's yellow you're seeing on the side of the road. It's really pretty stuff. And the other day she brought me some seeds from some rabbit brush outside of town, so I went ahead and scattered them around during a rain. It was raining here the day before yesterday. let me play with the there we go. Maybe. That's a little better. The polarizing filter, I've ignored that thing since I bought the camera. I put it on and thought, okay, it's going to do its job. Not paying any attention to how polarizers work. Bad me. I paid for it. Some videos have been really mysteriously hard to get the color right on. I think I know why now. So today I've been playing with the polarizer, and that's the only way that I have to turn that is to get my finger pretty much right in front of the lens and turn it. And there's a little I don't know what you call it. It's like a little light blocker, box light from the sides, little square piece that's on the end of the camera. So I have to sort of reach into that and then down to that polarizing filter and then rotate it. Yeah, pretty good now. So it should be pretty good until I turn south, and then it might change on me again. Because I think everything I'm doing is in relation to the sun and roughly the direction that I'm going. That would make sense. But the interstate is over to our south, or to our north, I'm sorry. And we're on this cool little frontage road. Now I just love this road. This is a beautiful road to drive because there are so many things to look at here. It's nice to be able to relax and see this stuff. Granite Mesa is just a massive mountain mesa. Both. Officially a mesa, but it's just a huge chunk of mountainous appearing mesa. The same with Battleman Mesa and the cliffs over to our left. It's just a lot of stuff to look at here. It's a really neat valley to take your time driving. Now, if I'm in a hurry, if I have something to do, then I'll zip down the interstate. But if I don't have to, especially if I'm filming, I'd rather just go slow. And look, the rabbit brush is beautiful. The day is beautiful. What more could you ask for? Now, there's not any really particularly super popular scenery right here. It's mainly the feel, the feel of the area. And if you like drives, if you're like me, you like to just see the countryside. Well, it might be ugly. It might be crowded and really metropolitan and boring, or exciting, or interesting. It doesn't necessarily have to be the best thing, but it is the act of driving, the feel of driving. And I'm not sure why, but I-70 just doesn't get it for me. I don't really like I-70 too much. Like I said, I'll get on there if I need to, but I don't really like it. It's not a likable road. I-80, however, I like I-80. It's an amazing road. It has a lot of truck traffic on it. It's, it's a good road to stay awake on. You don't really want to lose your concentration, on I-80 because the truck. It's a busy road. A lot of the area is 80 miles an hour. So that's all pretty cool. But doing the bypass is pleasant. You know, my friends come down, friends I have lunch with every week, pretty much every week. They drive down the junction quite a bit. And I'm always telling them, I said, you need to do that. Get off on the frontage road and just take your time and enjoy it. They will not do it. They are a lot like trying to medically treat a cat, like trying to give a cat an eye drop. You know, it's going to be good for the cat, but they're going to fight you. And my neighbors are like that. You know, my friends, you know, they will fight me tooth and nail. They will not do it. And so it's like, okay, I guess I give up. But they would love it if they did it. Well, they may not. They might not. And they might just like jacking with me. Anyway, this was an area, I've talked about it before, where a nuclear bomb, a weapon was set off. Well, not a weapon, but a bomb. Yeah, an explosive, I don't know. I guess when you're at a mine and you're using explosives, you don't call them bombs or weapons. They're explosives. So a nuclear explosive was used, and the idea was to fracture the shell, probably the shell, or maybe fracture everything, so that the oil could drain out of it and have a way to get out of it. They did shut that down in the 80s. They shut it down. Maybe it was the 90s. It was quite a long time ago. But even shut down, there's tons of infrastructure out here everywhere, all along this road, all the way through to Rifle and probably beyond. There's tons of infrastructure, and it's just, you know, it's everywhere. So I think that they probably did a pretty good job. Now, I did hear someone say, well, the oil was radioactive, and that's no good. I really don't believe that. I really don't believe that at all. I think that is like an old wives' tale kind of a thing. I would assume that there could be some radioactivity in some places, but the people that set the explosive off would have thought about that, right? So, and actually, even though the bomb affected a large area, that doesn't mean that radiation filled through that whole area, covered that whole area. Because if it did, well, there's probably a lot of radiation up here on the surface too, right? I mean, the idea that the radiation would travel that far and just ruin all the oil sounds like bullshit. Sounds like environmentalism bullshit. Environmentalism 101 is find a sad story. Then it doesn't matter if it's the truth or a lie. They don't care. Find a sad story and tell that story. We haven't made it to Ruliston yet, but we're working our way there. We'll actually be going through Parachute next. We will do a little roundabout over here. That looks like a state patrolman. And we will, I believe, do a roundabout over here also. Well, a quarter round. We're going to do a quarter round here. That's a hell of a mountain in front of us. The thing I like about this road is while people are are hauling ass, worried about getting caught speeding, wasting lots of gas. I don't mind wasting gas, but it does cost money. I don't like wasting money. I'm just casual, just casually poking along. And it's nice. There's no one behind me. Or if someone gets behind me, they just pass me. It's no big deal. It's so freeing to have this kind of laid back, cool attitude when I know that if I'm on the interstate, I'm nervous, I'm tense, I'm watching the mirror, I'm watching the sides, I'm watching the car, I'm watching my speed, I'm concerned about everything. I'm watching stuff here, but it's just, I'm not going nearly as fast to begin with. I'm doing 49 miles an hour right now. Speed limit is 50. If I did 50, nobody would care. If I did 60, likely nobody would care. A policeman might give me a ticket. A state patrolman would probably give me a ticket, though, for that. But I don't do that. But if I did, I would do it with the same relaxed, happy manner that I'm in when I'm on this road. Anyway, we've dropped this 40, up 25. This is Parachute, yeah. I think this used to be called Grand Valley. I don't remember for sure, but I think so. I think it changed when the big boom was going on. There's something that I want to do here that I haven't done. Before. I've never been on this side of this road. Well, maybe one time. My grandpa and his wife used to live up here. They had a townhouse somewhere in this area, and they really hated it. My grandpa was a builder, and he was a busy guy, stayed busy. A townhouse was an absolutely horrible idea for him because he's one of those people that likes to stay busy. And the age that he was, when he lived here, he was still a busy guy. I'm thinking, so that truck's not there. This reminds me of Edwards. Edwards, Colorado has a not a rest area. I think this is a rest area, but I could be wrong. I'm driving the wrong way here. Yeah, this must be the rest area. So anyway. I wanted to get in front of that guy. He's trying to get in front of me because I was driving the wrong way. So neat little road here. This might be worth investigating someday. So that was the rest area. I was curious about it. I'd seen a sign about it and wondered how it compared to the rest area in Rifle. And quite frankly, that's a pretty lame rest area. It's a bathroom though. When you need a bathroom, you need a bathroom, so it doesn't really matter. But the rest area in Rifle is really cool. It's down on the river. It's in a grove of trees. It's a big roundabout. You can camp there. It's just every cool thing about it. It's a really nice rest area. Maybe a little bit old. Maybe a little bit run down. But all right. All right. So we're back on Highway 6. So the car seems to be running really well. Thank goodness. My Jeep is broke down. It's in need of a starter. I've got the starter. I just need to get the time to put it in. Kind of funny how busy I got. I mean, when I wasn't working my own business and just doing my part-time work, I did have a lot of free time, but I stayed busy working on little company projects. I've got a few projects that I might like to commercialize, you know. I keep a tally of things like that in my head, because my little company has gone from, it was first set up to sell illuminated glasses, lighted glasses. In other words, glasses with lights on them so you can see what you're doing. And that was a dismal failure. But out of that, setting it up and, you know, tinking around with LEDs, I came up with a pretty good little light. And a pretty good way to keep it cool and a pretty good way to interconnect boards. And I sold lights to every state but one. For some reason, I never sold a light that I know of, anyway, in Montana. But every other state, I sold lights. I sold lights to. And I'd hire a few people and we'd build. You know, mainly it was bigger projects. And so I'd hire people. They'd come in and we would build the lighting. I made all the tools, all the things we needed, and would train them. It's not hard to do. I mean, if you're, but if a fire happened over here, if you're a reasonable craftsman, you could certainly, I could teach you how to build this lighting, and it was a lot of fun. Actually, it was an enjoyable thing, but that went by the wayside. You know, it went to China when the LED light, when all the other manufacturing companies went to China. So did Cree. They were my main supplier. Although I really like Nietzsche. I had an issue with the way they designed their LEDs, though, and I really loved the color of Nietzsche, and I just liked everything about that company, except that the way they designed their LEDs, I wasn't able to cool them properly. It would have been really hard to cool them. So I ended up going with Cree, and Cree was pretty good. In fact, Cree and Nietzsche had a patent battle going on for high brightness LEDs. I think Nietzsche won, but it didn't stop Cree. Maybe Cree. I don't know who won. Maybe it didn't matter. Maybe they got it worked out. Maybe they were both making money. I'm sure they still are. But I couldn't really depend on Cree anymore because Cree had gone to China and I couldn't buy LEDs anymore. It was very hard to buy LEDs. Like, I'd have to tell people, I'll give me a week or two. I'll see how many I can source. I can see if I can get your project done. And they people or my customers would work with me on that. And I was able to complete every job that I got. So that was good. But it just, I quit pushing it because it became so hard to get them. So I let that go. I still have a few LEDs. I still have a lot of my old, well, a lot of everything that I need to build LED lighting. I might do a little bit more lighting in the future, but I'm not really wild about it. But I have other projects that I work on. So when I'm busy with a side job, or we call it a side job. The work I had was part-time, and I would just interleave working part-time with my work, and it worked out well. Now it's a different story. I really have to be on that job site, working on that house every day to get it done. We're trying to get it done pretty quickly. Now, I don't work 8 hours a day. I'll probably work between 4 and 7, depending on what I do. Most days, I'll show up, I have a task in mind. That will usually take about 4 hours or so. Then I'll get that task done and I'll call it good. I'll go home, then I'll think about it, what I want to do the next day. And that's been handy. And I find that I actually do get a lot more work done doing it that way. I don't goof around. I get there and I get busy and I get stuff done. And if you don't know, I'm working on a house that my brother-in-law was building. He got cancer and got really sick and couldn't do the work. Went through treatment. So I've been a year working at it. But he's he's getting better. He's basically he's recovering from the radiation treatment. That was the thing that really got him. Now the cancer was bad also, but I mean there's just basically no good. And this is Ruleson. This is the area where they detonated that nuclear explosive. Let me say it properly. And that's a 4-way stop. So screw you, hippies. I'm going through. So at this point, I don't really have time for this Redbox job that I don't have anymore. That's okay. I mean, I was a little bit lost after it was gone, especially the drive. I really like driving. I really enjoy it. And actually, I've noticed I've romanticized it. I've lifted it way above the stature that I actually felt for it. Didn't realize that until today, because now I'm thinking, okay, that wasn't so great driving, but I love it. I mean, I still enjoy the drive. But it's one of those things where when you don't have something and you want it, you make it into something so much better than what it really was. Then if you ever get it again, you're sort of let down. It's kind of how I felt today with my drive today. But in the back of my mind, I kind of felt like that would happen. And having said that, I'm still really happy that I'm out here on the road today, making this video that maybe 100 people will actually watch. And there's all this rabbit brush, beautiful stuff. All that yellow, beautiful rabbit brush. It's time to a little bit of an adjustment. I'm thinking if I stay on top of that polarizer, I might be able to counteract the flatness of the light that you get in the afternoons. I just got a bug. Dang it. The bug did die. Look at all them suckers over there. Can you see them? You can't see them. Just a whole bunch of motorcycles and trucks and cars. I mean, suckers. Driving on that nasty interstate. I don't know what I've got against I-70. I don't get it, but I don't like I-70 very much. Maybe it's the ski towns. I've really grown to dislike ski towns. I used to really like ski towns. Then I stopped and thought about it for a while and thought, why do I like ski towns? They come in, this huge corporation, set up stores, set up everything, hire everybody, and take all the profit. There's not a lot of small businesses that can survive a ski town's full frontal push, because you don't know if Nancy's candle shop isn't part of, whoa, that's a big rock. You don't know if Nancy's candle shop or Sarah's, used underwear or whatever. You don't know if that's actually just a crap store, or if that's actually really someone's small business. And on top of that, any of the more profitable small businesses have been taken over by this large corporation. And large corporations are typically woke, yet large corporations around here use shitloads of water to make snow. Now, the snow will turn back into water and flow back into the river. So, okay, but it's polluted. I mean, for the environmentalists out there, right? It's going to be polluted. It's going to be nasty. That runoff is going to go back into the river with whatever crap, it got on the slopes, the chemicals you put in the snow, that kind of stuff. But not only that, but for all these climate change alarmist people that whine about people using energy, they pump that water up hundreds or maybe thousands of feet, spray it everywhere. It takes a lot of electricity, a lot of coal, my friends, is burnt to get that water on the side of that hill in the form of snow. And they do that, and then they tell us, no, you need to drive an EV. You need to pay more for your whatever. What the hell was that? Some interesting thing. Oh, whatever. And another thing that ski towns do, at the same time they're telling everyone, the corporations, the woke corporations, are telling everyone, oh, climate change is a big deal or whatever. The bullshit. It's all bullshit. They also charge so much for land around the ski areas that people have to drive in from 80 to 100 miles a day. I mean, one way, and maybe more. My little brother and his wife they drove from Craig to Steamboat for a long time, but then they moved to Bond, which is about 60 miles away, I think, from where they worked. They drove every day, but that's what you have to do. That's what ski towns do. The modern ski town, the modern corporation, that's what they do to small towns. Now, granted, Steamboat Springs was a dirt poor town before the ski area showed up. But Steamboat Springs was also a town full of nice people a long time ago. And then it became a town full of cutthroat, greedy money chasers. And that's basically what it is now. Well, Steamboat's kind of weird. I mean, in a way, it's sort of been taken over by leftist women. They are creepy. You go to Steamboat and you see these women, give them a wide berth. Make sure that, make sure you're packing some self-defensive weapon, because these women are murderers. They're bad people. Okay, I'm exaggerating a little bit. However, there are more people in Steamboat, more women in Steamboat, that are convicted of murder, poisoning their husbands, than in a lot of other areas. It's not that uncommon. It's less common, in Craig. But we're more regular people in Craig. We're not the super wealthy left. We're not the super intellectual group of people that they believe they're so smart because they went to college and became indoctrinated into the communist New World Order, or whatever they did. I went to college too, but I didn't fall for that shit. Look at that, coal train. That came from Bowie, or there are 3 mines up there. Somerset, Bowie and I can't think of the other line. But I used to work for a company that did some stuff for those guys. I wrote a little book about how to inspect the sample system, the coal sampling system, for a local minerals company. Actually, kind of a big SGS. I worked for those guys for a while. Really silly job, but I don't know, it was kind of fun. Bowie, Somerset, and what? I can't remember. Had this guy behind me. I was waiting for him to pass me. Keep in mind, I'm going about 5 miles an hour faster, but he wanted to pass me anyway. It's just got that competition thing going. And I don't really care. I'm not trying to win a race driving. Not driving this car anyway. So we're bypassing Rifle. I'm going to say we're about on the outskirts of Rifle, so I'm going to end this video here. If you are going somewhere, drive careful. I hope you appreciate my super intellectual wit today. Take that however you want. Boy, that used to be an empty field a couple of years ago. Now it's full of modulars. Mobile homes, really. I call those mobile homes. They don't even look like, well, I guess they're kind of modular-like. Anyway, take care, and we'll see you next time.